everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you guys are new. Recently in a video that I posted, at the very end of the video, I asked you guys if you wanted to see me use the Huda Mercury Retrograde palette or the Nomad America's Parks palette. At the time I'm filming this palette has more votes. So I am creating a 3 looks 1 palette video using the Huda Mercury Retrograde palette. The look that I'm wearing right now is going to be the first look that you see me create. I wanted to do one that was just a little bit more like light and airy of a look. I feel like this is super wearable. I kept the face makeup very fresh and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I do want to film more videos using one palette exclusively for multiple looks in a video, so I'm kind of playing around with how I prefer to do that. So let me know what you guys think about the voiceover style, but with that being said, let's just go ahead and jump into the 3 looks using the Huda Mercury Retrograde palette. Okay, in each of the 3 looks, you're going to see me start with this About Face eyeshadow primer. I think it's a really nice base for eyeshadow. This is called the Smoothing Shadow Fix. To start out with this first look, I'm going to start out with the shade Momentum. This is just the lightest matte shade in the palette. I typically start out with this just to kind of set down the eyeshadow base. I'm also going to pinch the brush and run this along the lower lash line. Next up, I'm going to go with a fluffy crease brush into the shade Off Balance. I'm putting this shade kind of on the outer portion of my lid and then in the crease as well. And I want to make sort of a sharper V shape on the outer corner, but with this light color. I'm making sure to slowly build this shade up. I'm going to go back into the shade Momentum just to kind of blend that out. I want it to be very seamless. And then I'm taking the shade Off Balance again and I'm putting that on the lower lash line. I'm also going to use this NYX glitter glue all over the lid. I like to use this underneath shimmer shades. And then the first shimmer shade I'm going to go into is called Cosmic. It's this light pinky kind of lavender-ish shade. I want to put this all over the lid. And then I'm going to add just a couple more shades to kind of build up some depth and give kind of a fake duochrome type of a look. But I am putting this Cosmic shade everywhere, even the inner corner. I'm going to use my brush just to kind of blend out the crease area, and then I'm going to go in with the shade Supernova and start to build that depth that I was mentioning earlier. I'm putting this on the outer corner, and then I'm going in with the shade Galaxy in the middle of the lid, and then I'm going to blend it a little bit more with Cosmic again, just to kind of go over it and make it look very seamless. I am obsessed with how this turned out. And then of course I'm also going to add the Cosmic shade underneath the lower lash line because like I said, I'm putting that shade everywhere. So I added the Maybelline Sky High Mascara in the shade Brown and then put on a little bit more blush. This is Hourglass Mood Exposure. And then this is the final look number 1. For look number 2, I'm going to start out again with the About Face primer and the shade Momentum. This is my usual for this palette. Again, putting that on the lower lash line. This one I'm going to go into Utopia. I'm going to be sure to tap the brush off so that I can build up the pigment very lightly and kind of get the depth that I'm really looking for. With the same brush, I'm going to go into Off Balance and kind of add this next to Utopia. I'm building a gradient in the crease from the inner to outer corner. So the last shade I'm going to add to that outer part of the crease is called Karma. I'm also going to put this on the outer portion of the lid. Again, kind of creating that V shape that I did in the first look. I needed some tape and all I have was packing tape. So it's just going to have to work. I'm cutting off a little piece. And I'm going to use this to create kind of a wing liner look with eyeshadow. I'm putting it on the back of my hand to make it a little bit less sticky on my face and then lining it up how I want it. I'm using the shades Off Balance and Karma mixed together to create this nice V shape on the end. And then I'm adding a tiny little bit of Hot Mess with a larger shader brush just to create that nice line. I'm using my brush just to kind of dust over everything with no more product. And then I'm going to add a little bit more of Karma. I'm just kind of going back and forth and blending and adding some. So this is what I was going for with that crisp line. But this tape did pick up a little bit of my makeup, but it's okay. I'm adding a little bit of Utopia on the lower lash line just to kind of help blend the look. Of course, I'm using my NYX glitter glue again, and I'm dipping into my favorite shade called Nebula. This is my favorite shade in the palette, and it's been my favorite since like 2019 when I had my original Huda Mercury Retrograde palette, so I really love this one. I am really building that up, and then surprisingly enough, I'm going in with Supernova again. I'm putting this on the outer corner. This is a shade I typically don't use, but I'm kind of loving it for some reason right now. I'm using a clean brush just to kind of go over that line and make it a little bit less harsh. And then I'm adding this wing liner from Kaja. I felt like this was a little bit more of a dramatic look. I'm adding on the Tower 28 mascara, and then I'm putting Supermoon in the inner corner for the final touch. I did have to spray my brush on this one, but I really like how it turned out. This is the final look number 2. For look number 3, again, starting out with that same eyeshadow primer and momentum. My camera is a little bit fuzzy on this clip, so I'm sorry that it looks a little bit weird. I'm going in with the shade Karma for this one, and I'm putting this on the outer portion of the lid and the crease, and then I'm bringing that into the inner portion of the crease as well. But I'm not really sure why this one's so fuzzy, so hopefully you guys can still see what the look ended up looking like, but that's a little bit unfortunate. I'm also still putting this shade Karma on the lower lash line, and I'm really just building that up. I'm kind of packing it on the outer portion of the lid with my NYX glitter glue, and then I'm adding the shade Frazzled on top of that, of course. I'm putting this everywhere, but it didn't give me the sparkle that I was really wanting, so I'm adding the shade Gold Glitch to the inner third or so, but I'm going to end up kind of pulling that over. So right here, I'm going between those two gold shades and mixing them together, and then again, pulling in the shade Supernova. So I'm just kind of layering them until I get the look that I was wanting. And then I felt a little bit daring, you guys. I went for it and I added the shade Haze to the inner corner, and I kind of liked it. So I'm going with it and I'm packing that on, and then I felt like I wanted it to be glittery. So I'm adding the shade Supermoon, and then I'm going in with Gold Glitch again. And I'm gonna put this on the lower lash line, but I always spray my brush for the lower lash line if I'm gonna use a shimmer shade, because it helps with fallout from it not to get on the rest of my face. I'm adding a little bit of eyeliner. This is from NYX and it's in the shade Deep Brown. I'm curling my lashes. I felt like I needed even more of the Gold Glitch shade. I'm even bringing that into the crease. I'm adding my Tower 28 mascara. And then this is the final look number 3. I hope you guys like this one. This was kind of my favorite. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today's video, showing you 3 looks with the Huda Mercury Retrograde palette. Thank you guys for voting for this one. I'm honestly really happy that this won, because it's been a really long time since I've used this palette. I've got to say that this look is my favorite one. I'm not really sure what it is about it, because sometimes I feel like I regret putting this type of a shade on the inner corner, but I really like it with this really gold look. You guys have to let me know what you think about it, but for a more wearable look, I definitely could see myself wearing this without the blue on the inner corner, but I'm just pretty obsessed with how the gold looks. But I hope that you guys enjoyed seeing 3 looks with this palette. Actually today, as I'm filming this 3rd look, the Rose Quartz palette from Huda just came in the mail, so now I'm really wanting to film something with that one. So hopefully you guys are excited for that. I know it's on sale right now and a lot of you guys also picked it up, so hopefully we can kind of create some looks together. If you do create any with this Mercury Retrograde palette or the Rose Quartz, be sure to tag me over on Instagram. I would love to see those. But thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy seeing the 3 looks, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Also, if you want to subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate that. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.